Well, that's how he impressed everyone. Florentino Pérez, to all the people of Madrid and Real Madrid fans today, information about the election campaign. Today we'll begin with Florentino, who appeared in Toledo and spoke. Let's hear what he said. And he put up another billboard, a big double one, with the stars he has signed. Because in addition, he was accompanied by the message that he will announce names, that he will talk about the sports project in the coming days. Surely, because even though Florentino, well, it's what we've been saying throughout all these days, right? Florentino shouldn't and doesn't have to be thinking about what the other person is doing. In fact, he's not going to debate with him, but it depends on the name the other person is selling. Starting Wednesday, let's call him Riquelme, not Florentino, who doesn't even mention him, right? It depends on what he says and that other star he's going to talk about. And the coach, will he have to reveal it at some point? We've already mentioned Fernando Hierro as the sporting director in a previous video. Of course, Florentino is going to say, hey, his life doesn't depend on it either because he has everything to win. But still, to drop a name or two, we know the most important one is Mourinho, of course, but hey, maybe a player. We mentioned it in the previous video about Konate, which would be that new move by Florentino with a player who is a free agent, and everything that was said about Konate last summer. Oh my goodness. And now suddenly caught up in this whirlwind of elections. I mean, stay. That's what they told him at Liverpool, Konate. Well, I don't know if they actually told him or not, but Konate became a free agent, and bam, suddenly he could become a Real Madrid player, which I think is exactly where things are heading, because otherwise, you tell me, and he would be another one of those players that Florentino would take advantage of as a free agent. Well, the banner, of course, the banner is like, how could I not love you? It's just that it's really powerful. The image of Florentino is really powerful and with very little effort. Normally, he would win these elections easily, but be careful, because they're talking about a possible low turnout because the Pope is coming, because it's going to be complicated to get out, especially for people who live in Madrid City, to get out of there, come to Valdebebas and all that. It's another thing for those who come from other provinces, right? It's going to be, although there's going to be a lot of movement in Madrid, of course, but well, there will be people who have their difficulties. And since many Florentinistas think that Florentino has this, that he has it won, well, maybe there could be a little surprise, that the percentages could be higher than what we think, okay? But anyway, I think it's unthinkable for me, even for me, since I'm getting comments from people every day and all that, because what kind of situation does this leave me in, right? If I were with either of the two candidates, well, it's absurd. But anyway, that's the typical thing people say who don't watch these videos, because those of you who have been watching these videos since day one of the campaign, you'll see that I'm always showing information from one side and information from the other, and then giving my opinion, and my opinion is personal and non-transferable. It's transferable, which I remind you daily, since I feel obligated to share my thoughts with you. Well, so this is the banner, as I said, of Florentino, which is interesting. Besides that, the names of a lot of soccer players he has signed. I think it's clearer here in Marca. I'll recognize them better here. Figo, I mean, the Galacticos, Figo, Zidane, Ronaldo, Nazario, Mario. Who's there? Damn, no, because he doesn't include Owen. Wait, let's see who the other one is. Well, yes, of course, Beckham, Sergio Ramos, Ronaldo, Cristiano, Benzema, Kaká, Alonso, Xabi Alonso. Arbeloa isn't there, by the way. Who joined Madrid in the same season, in the same summer, in 2009. Modric, Casemiro, put Casemiro in there, Carvajal, Bale. Carvajal, of course, Carvajal is from the youth academy, but you put him in there. Careful, of course, he doesn't include Raul, because Raul came from a much earlier era. He includes Carvajal there because even though he's from the youth academy, he understands that, he comes up during Florentino's term, right? Bale, Cruz, Vinicius Jr., Courtois, Rodrigo, Bellingham, and Mbappe. And there were others. He leaves out several. James Rodriguez, he leaves out Owen, because when he signed Owen in 2004, Owen was going to be, he had already won the Ballon d'Or. He was another Galactico, right? And, what can I tell you? 30 Alexander-Arnold, who else is he leaving out? He leaves some out since not everyone could fit, but the message is clear, especially with to be continued at the end. By the way, he puts Mbappe with the number 9, not 10, because when he signed him, he wore number 9. Well, that was Florentino's electoral move today, a very powerful visual. And then he spoke, and he said, he focused on attacking part of what he said, because obviously, and as I mentioned before regarding sports, he says new stars and an Iran, right, to Real Madrid next season. I will give more details about our project in the coming days, both in sporting, social, and economic terms. Well, he will say that. He will say that in the coming days. I'm not sure if he's reacting to the other thing. But this is what he commented with clear references to the other candidate.
What days? Just a moment.
Wait, now.
Something unachievable in 2 days. Some things can't be improvised. I believe I've earned the trust of Real Madrid members by always telling them the truth. You can't expect to be president of Real Madrid by building a project based on lies. You can't deceive the members by promising season tickets that are impossible. So who are we going to take them away from then? I'm always concerned about members without season tickets. We'll keep fighting with all our strength against illegal reselling in collaboration with the police. And I've already told you that all the season tickets that have been recovered by the club due to misuse will go to the members who are not currently season ticket holders. And it will be like this every season. Of course, we will take into account those cases where there was no bad faith when a season ticket was transferred. These are the members who, unfortunately, have also been deceived. We will have the necessary sensitivity for each case. Stop lying. Stop talking about false promises, about fake projects, which would only lead to one thing, something we Madridistas don't want because we've already experienced it. Don't cook up phony platforms in restaurants because that will only lead us to the ruin of Real Madrid. In contrast to a project that only considers expenses, we have been building Real Madrid since the year 2000, thinking about how to spend more resources to keep winning. In contrast to an outdated project of swimming pools and paddle courts on land that is now worth more than €1 billion, we propose to create the largest technology park in Europe on that land. Prestige and the generation of resources and new income so that Real Madrid can continue to be a leader in sports, economics, and social matters. This is a strategic project because for the first time in the history of football, a club will have direct and permanent access to technological knowledge, and as the most advanced in the world, to also apply its needs, from physical and tactical preparation, injury prevention, sports performance, and so on. We use artificial intelligence to go hand in hand with a giant like Apple, which will allow us in the future to dream and grow economically with something that will be revolutionary in the football industry. Have you ever heard of the infinite Bernabéu?
Well, let's see, several things. Wow, it's incredible when he says the others are promising outdated projects that only involve expenses and have paddle tennis courts and so on. I mean, he still doesn't say the name. I insist. He just doesn't. The disgust he feels for Riquelme and Riquelme's candidacy is something else. All of this obviously comes from years ago because, well, Riquelme is a friend of the son-in-law of Di Verdrola, whom Florentino has it out for, etc., and so on. But damn, very harsh words. He says the others lie, won't do it this way, that it leads to ruin, and he cares about the season ticket issue, while punishing them for reselling and transferring those season tickets, since some season ticket holders misuse them, of course, to people who could be members, who could become new season ticket holders. Responding a bit to it has been one of the main talking points for Riquelme these days. When he talks about this tech hub, I assure you one thing. The Real Madrid member still doesn't know what the tech area we're going to set up there in Valdebebas is. If you ask him to explain it, he'll say, well, yes, companies are going to come here like Apple, like Nvidia, and well, I don't know how many more will come, and they're going to do something there. That's what the member will tell you. They should explain this better. He'll say those people will be there. Florentino tells us that this is going to be good for Real Madrid, so they can benefit from it too. And he says, well, they're going to, for the members, are they going to make Apple subscriptions, the apps or whatever, cheaper for us? I mean, is this a joke? But they should explain it a little better. However, the other one, although we've also criticized it in terms of who pays for this, maybe it's a little bit maybe it's a little bit, well, they've called it marinador, what Riquelme has done and all, but for the member, so that it's visually, it understands it. More tangible for the Real Madrid member, I insist, so they can enjoy it, so they understand, so they can see it in Valdebebas or when they go to Valdebebas. Sorry, so they feel that it was done for them and they can enjoy it. Well, between one thing and another, I don't know. We'll see at the polls. But maybe for members in general, imagine that Florentino isn't Florentino, it's someone else, and they're running here. All things being equal, more or less, what would you see as more tangible for someone you want to attract? Something about some companies coming to make a tech hub with paddle courts, soccer fields, and so on. Maybe the second thing, maybe I think the second thing, that's why I should explain this well. And then the thing about the Infinite Bernabeu, which is an idea that I think is fantastic. Fantastic and brilliant. And Madrid is the first team to do it, I understand, in football, to do it with these glasses and so on. This also has its part that should be explained better, or its weaknesses. Those glasses right now cost $3,000. I mean, the Real Madrid season ticket, well, depending on the area, but let's say if you want, look, I can't have a Bernabéu season ticket to go every weekend or every time there's a match and so on, because I live who knows where. I watch it through my Apple glasses. I imagine that will already have a fee, but besides, the glasses are $3,000 or $3,000 or $3,500. I don't know how much those glasses cost. I've tried them and all that. They're awesome and everything, but I wouldn't spend that much until I see an everyday and more practical use for them. But no way in hell. Some people will love that about Bernabeu, but how many will there really be? Well, look, I don't know. Now, as innovators, it's fantastic. Everything is great, but it also has its weaknesses. I don't know. I'm just starting a debate here because later people will think that I'm just finding fault with everything. But no, listen, it's just that otherwise we can't talk. I mean, and besides, one thing is clear. Florentino is going to win. Florentino is going to win. But just because he's going to win doesn't mean everything seems perfect to us. We'll have to say here that there are things that maybe are more urgent for the member or the fan. The Infinite Bernabeu is amazing, but before that, we need replacements for Kroos and Modric. Seriously, yes or no? That's my point. By the way, a name has come up this afternoon that could really hurt Riquelme if he doesn't come out to explain it or respond to this information from Jorge Calabres. Careful. Nanín Calderon's pawn, campaigning against Florentino. A player's agent. He says he called him to support Riquelme. This is information from Jorge Calabres. And he elaborates here. The thing is, since this is behind a paywall, I'm only going to read the headline and the subtitles. I'm sorry. Nanín, Calderon's pawn, campaigning against Florentino. A player's agent. He says he called him to support Riquelme. The agent received a call this Monday from the mastermind behind the rigged vote at the members' assembly that led to Calderon's resignation in 2009. This guy who, well, is naturally part of the dark history of Real Madrid. I've seen him in Miami a few times, kind of from a distance. And the other day I saw him at the tennis. I kept thinking, why does this guy look familiar? Why does he look familiar? Why does he look familiar? Why does he look familiar? Nanín. Mariano Rodriguez de Barutel, Nanín. He asked this agent for the Real Madrid player to come out publicly before Sunday supporting the candidacy of Enrique Riquelme. Well, that's something that's out there. We don't know if it's true or not. It's information today that has caused quite a stir. And here it's being talked about. It's being talked about too. Because we could keep quiet about the truth, man. I think if this guy is linked to Riquelme, it's going to hurt him naturally. And above all, it's something that Florentino's campaign is really focused on linking Calderon to Riquelme, right? And if Nanín also shows up in the equation, well, you can imagine. Anyway, we're going to leave, but not before pointing out something that has especially bothered me. And it's about Fabrizio Romano, who always does the same thing. This guy, it turns out it affects a Real Madrid player. And for the better, I think, because Cesar Palacios seems very good to me. If Como signs him, I would think, come on, it would be great because he could have the same development as Jacobo Ramon and not to mention Nico Paz. I think it's a great place to go as long as Fabregas stays there. And so Fabrizio Romano is talking about Como's interest in signing this kid and all that, well, to follow in the footsteps of Nico Paz. And they're telling Fabrizio Romano and everyone else, Hey, man, Joel Guerrero already reported this. He's a journalist who covers this. He's been covering Real Madrid from the Youth Academy accounts and Real Madridista Real. Let me see if I say it right. I want to say it right. Real Madrid's Youth Academy. Sorry. No, that's not it. From Madridista Real. Sorry about that. Well, this guy already talked about this the other day. 2 days ago, actually, on May 30th, he already talked about this. And today, Fabrizio Romano, who steals a lot, is taking advantage of this information because, well, here on this channel, for example, because we always talk about what others say, but we always mention the name. And here, Fabrizio Romano hasn't mentioned this guy, Joel Guerrero, at any point. Not once. Bad move, honestly. All right. Hope you all do well. Give a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. Please comment and share. Today, the video is coming out a bit later. I'm only doing 2 a day now since I'm focusing on something else too. Very good news is coming. I'm going to the World Cup. We're going to do some very interesting things there. We're going to be with the fans. I'm going to do a fantastic road trip with the family. Let's go. World Cup adventure. Totally, totally. And we'll show it on this channel. And something that's very important, I'm going back to television. I'm going over there because I'll be working on a TV channel in the United States during the World Cup. I won't reveal which one until the TV channel announces it. We'll keep working on the channel and doing cool things, so you'll enjoy it. I hope you keep supporting as always. And to support, please like this video. Hype it up if you can. And, well, subscribe if you haven't already. All the best to you. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.